Hello, everyone. Oh, yeah, you know what's back. Another episode of Mostly Football. In fact, episode 13. Tonight, we got big questions heading into training camp. The Raiders, and I think the Steelers already started their training camp. We got other teams starting their training camp this week. Also, new looks, new helmets. Also, big injuries. Also, a dome in Chicago? Say it ain't so. Also, Nate and I are assembling our all-pro teams, our favorite players of currently active NFL players. Redundant. Okay, folks, it's Mostly Football, episode 13. Welcome in. Oh, man, toward the end there, you sort of ramble on. You just try to get everything in. And it's like, how do I word what I'm trying to say here? It's like we're making a team filled with our favorite players from currently active NFL players, right? I don't want to get it mixed up. It's not like legendary players who are retired. Tonight, we are simply using players from currently active rosters.
It's going to be pretty easy. I think it's
Why
going
is
to
that
be
not
pretty
coming
easy.
out the way I wanted to? Anyway, yeah.
It's going to be pretty easy for me.
Dude, today was a wild day. Let me just start off by saying I had to come home early from work. I got a call from the wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, a window had been broken. Dogs were fighting. Blood had been shed.
Jesus.
This was all I knew on the phone. Yes. My God, I'm racing home, thinking what could be waiting for me. You know, my dog, did it get out? Is my wife okay? Is the baby okay? You know, is everyone okay? And I get home, thank goodness, like what had really happened was my dog only broke the inside window pane and didn't get through the screen part to actually, man, I don't know. We have these so the window is sectioned into fours, and the part he broke is trust me, I measured it out after trying to go to Lowe's and get this thing figured out. So it's like 10 1/8 by 13 and a half.
Right.
So obviously, if he tried to shimmy out of there, it would have been a real issue. But all in all, but I guess some husky showed up, was just sitting outside of our window, and Bam Bam wasn't having it. So he wanted to go after the husky, and he has this thing where if my female dog gets near him when he's trying to be protective, he'll attack her in a weird way to get her to go away. So it's just chaos. And so my wife's trying to get in there. There's broken glass. She's got the baby. I get home trying to size up. You know, it's just a nightmare, folks. So all that to say, thank goodness the podcast is still happening tonight after running back and forth to Lowe's. Get this, I go to Lowe's. I've never had glass cut before, so I show up and I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to do some temporary plexiglass replacement.
Right.
They're a bunch of shysters at Lowe's. Okay, the guy who finally helped me after hitting the thing, ding, assistance needed in glass cutting. You know, ding, assistance needed for however long that took. So finally, some brave soul shows his face. Initially I saw him in the aisle, and he looked at me and he looked away, and I knew I was like, okay, something's going on here. So I started asking other people. Sure enough, get back to this guy. Oh, sure, I'll cut glass for you. Yeah, why'd you look away like a coward when I first saw you? Anyway, I get him over to help me, and I tell him my situation, and he shows me the plexiglass. You know, he rings me out for it's like $18. And so I get back. Sure enough, I'd measured wrong. I need to go back and get it resized. I went back within 20 minutes. The guy's freaking gone, disappeared like a ghost, vanished, nowhere to be found. And I see in the little station that he cut the glass in, there's fully glass pieces there for $5. So I'm thinking this guy, he knew my situation. He knew I didn't know what I was doing. So he just sells me, not making commission or anything. I don't know why he would sell me more than I needed to. But anyway, I just got a little perturbed when I realized I probably spent more than I needed to, and I didn't get the right size.
Jesus.
And he wasn't even there when I got back.
Jesus. Did you get the piece at least?
I have now a piece that's too small and a piece that's too big.
So now you got to go back sometime tomorrow.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, did you have anything like that today? Hopefully it was just
we actually drove 8 hours home. Because we went to spend the weekend with the girlfriend's parents. So we drove back today. God, I hate it. Dude, that drive is brutal.
First time meeting?
No, we've been there. We've met it before.
Oh, okay.
So it was brutal. I can tell you that. 8 hours in a car. it's exhausting.
Oh yeah. Did you drive the whole way?
No. We did half and half. But Kenzie was with us, and she didn't do too bad. She was cool actually. She didn't complain or anything. We stopped once for food, and then we kind of got gas, and then that was it. So
Now, do you turn on like a kids radio, or does she like to listen to the adult radio?
listen
Or
to adult music. I just kind of monitor what we listen to.
yeah,
So
you don't want to get too wild, right?
no, most definitely.
You
But
look in the back seat and it's like, hey, none of that.
but no, it was like I said, my weekend was pretty good. I didn't have any crazy shit like that happen. Unfortunately, the Colin Murray did. He had some excitement in his new contract.
That's where
I
you want to start
personally,
off.
when I heard it, when I heard about the contract, I was kind of wary about it. I was like, it's a lot of money. 160 million of it's guaranteed. Um, but I mean, when you look at it from a different perspective, is like, what were the Cardinals before Kyler Murray got there? And they were absolute dog show. They were a guaranteed win. If you saw them on your schedule, they were guaranteed win. So
Also, you look at it from the perspective of at least they didn't do what the Browns did and give $230 million to a guy who might not play this season.
who might not play this season? That's the bad part. Like, come on, bro. You might not even get to play this year. And that's the funny thing. Like, you might not even get to play this year.
Yeah, what a nightmare that is.
Extreme nightmare. That's an extreme nightmare. You guarantee this man all this money, but what is it? Derek Carr calls Kyler Murray game film clause bunkers and concerning.
Yeah,
There's a reason for that. So the contract that the stipulation in his contract, for those of you who don't know, Kyler Murray was giving a $230 million contract, 160 of it guaranteed. With the stipulation is that he has to watch 4 hours of film every week. In my mind, if I'm a Cardinals fan, I'm concerned. That's something that's concerning for me as to why you have to tell my quarterback why you require him to watch 4 hours of film. Like, were you not watching film last year, or since you've been in the league? What were you doing? That's my question. Like, what were you doing to the point where they had to put a requirement in your contract?
Oh, and also just think of the relationship that like think of the precedent that sets. Like now it's like you're like the parent and you're treating Kyler Murray as your child rather than someone who's going to lead your team, to victory. He is your child. You have to monitor and like make sure he's doing his homework.
But there had to have been a reason. Like this has to have been a reason because of last year, with all of the falling out and him getting thrown under the bus by the Cardinals because of the blowout loss to the Rams in the playoffs and all this extra stuff, there had to have been a reason for them to put no organization. You could look at, there's a lot of organizations that's had bad quarterbacks. Cleveland, the Texans.
Speaking of, we got David Carr right here.
Right? The Saints, Falcons. All these teams have had bad quarterbacks. And none of them who signed contracts were required to watch film.
Oh, yeah. Like I said before the show, you think of Johnny Manziel, like Vince Young, guys who flamed out immediately after their rookie seasons. Right. And you never heard a stipulation like that in their contract.
No. Baker. Baker signed a new contract and you don't hear anything about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dak has had contract extensions. You didn't hear anything about that. I don't know. I don't think he was watching film. I think he was just going out every week and allowing his natural talent to win games. And then also he had DeAndre Hopkins. Let's be honest.
Well, let's see what former number 1 overall pick David Carr and former Seattle running back / Penn State quarterback Michael Robinson have to say about this situation here.
Dookie.
Oh, let's get some volume on this.
I feel like Will Ferrell, and I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah.
Like, in what world are you going to pay a quarterback $250 million and then have to put a clause into the contract that says, you know what, when you're at home, you got to watch 4 hours of tape extra per week? Like, literally, Peyton Manning is freaking out at home. Like, I wish we had a camera on Peyton Manning watching Ian Rappaport do this, because I'm just speaking. I was not as talented as Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is an extremely talented quarterback.
Humble, very humble
so
there.
Easy for us to see. It's off the charts easy to see. But this part of it is extremely concerning to me. It's not even, that doesn't even do it justice, the extremely concerning part, because that should just be a given. Like, there should have been a clause in Peyton Manning's contract that for 4 hours, he can't watch film.
Yeah, you got to go home.
Like, you have to do something else.
Do something else.
That has to be in his contract. So for that to have to be in there, and I get, like, this is how it works. Like,
how about for 4 hours he has to get on a treadmill?
Everyone they can track you. They know how much you watch film, but that should never be, the quarterback should never be in the world where, oh, I don't know if he saw enough 49ers film. He
shouldn't even be in the conversation.
Shouldn't even be there, right?
You talk about, and they're only asking him to do 4 hours a week. I played fullback. I did 4 hours a night.
Right.
I mean,
That's
seriously,
crazy.
to be able to know where guys are lining up, know your protections, know exactly how to fit up in your gaps and things like that. And I caught a lot of flack. I was on this show, me and Bucky Brooks. We had a heated discussion about whether Kyler Murray deserved this contract and things like that. To hear that this addendum is in the contract, to me, lets you know that maybe you shouldn't have paid him right now. Right. You're paying the guy $250 million.
That's what I've been saying. I was at work, and the dude, I'm like, dude, come on. I was like, when I said he should have got that money, he just reiterated that to me. The fact that it's in this contract, you should have not have paid this man that money right now.
Yeah.
If you have to tell your starting QB, hey, you have to watch 4 hours of film
a week.
That money. A week. I'm not paying you that money. $230 million with 160 guarantee. I'm not paying you this money. I'm not paying you this money. So now I paid you this money, and now we gotta hope you follow and watch film every week.
Real quick, I'm gonna call Michael Robinson's bluff on that one. I don't think he was actually watching 4 hours a night as a fullback, but I'm sure he watched more hours in a week than Kyler Murray did.
I'm sure. I'm most definitely sure he did.
Michael Robinson, he's an interesting player to go from quarterbacks in college, then kind of like slash running back, then just like all the way fullback. That was an interesting transition.
It was, and you know what? He was one of those players who swallowed his pride.
Yeah.
He knew he wasn't as good as he was at quarterback, and he knew he wasn't as good as he was at running back, so he found his niche, which is fullback. You hit somebody in the mouth, and occasionally we give you the ball. All you have to do as a fullback is run block and pass protection. And occasionally you get the ball. That's it. That's all you have to do. And if you get people like Tim Tebow who couldn't swallow his pride and take a position as a fullback, or couldn't take a position, well, he tried tight end and it didn't work out for him. But he should have been a running back, to be honest. He's not a quarterback. Like, let's be real. Like, you got lucky in Denver. That playoff run you had in Denver, you got lucky. That's simple.
People say like maybe he could have done it like a Taysom Hill type thing. Honestly, like I don't know that he was athletic enough to truly make it as a tight end or running back. Like he was good at, to scramble, to get away from a guy who was spying him, a bigger linebacker. He could do that sort of thing, design runs. But yeah, I'm just not sure he's the all around athlete that like even Taysom Hill is.
Here's my question. This is my question. Is what kind of quarterback coaches do you have in college? That's my question.
That are just letting you get away with not watching 4 hours of film?
If I got a guy like Lamar Jackson, right? I know for a fact he's an athlete. I don't have to teach him speed. I don't have to teach him to run. I don't teach him that. I don't have to teach you that. But what I do have to teach you is accuracy, anticipation,
mm-hmm.
and that's it. Because arm strength is a talent. Arm strength is something you either have it or you don't.
Right.
It's just one of those things you either have it or you don't. And for me, I feel like college is failing these kids. They're just, let him be exciting. Yeah, because then And then he gets into the league, and then you hear people, well, he's not a top 10 this, he's not a top 10 that. Lamar Jackson is not top 10 quarterback at all. I don't care who you are. You could argue that shit. I will go and pull stats. He has not been top 10 in passing yards in the last 2 or 3 years. He's been top 10 in rushing, but
he has kept the Ravens competitive.
Michael Vick kept the Falcons competitive.
Yeah.
Vick,
that's all you can ask for, really.
Michael Vick game his game didn't improve until he made it to the Eagles. When he was, I say this, and this is probably gonna give me a lot of slack. When Vick was on the Eagles, he was at his best. Period. He was the best Michael Vick when he was with the Eagles. He was accurate. He had anticipation throws. He scrambled only when he needed to. He was the guy we needed in Atlanta. But sometimes you just gotta learn somewhere else. And that and what that shows for me is quarterback coaching. Your head coach.
Also, you could argue he gained a new appreciation for the game after his time away.
Absolutely, I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
But that's my thing is like for me my question is you get a guy like Kyler Murray, you get a guy like Lamar Jackson. I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes, right? All everyone kept saying was,
Do I have to?
All everyone was saying was, oh, he's not going to make it. He's just a gunslinger. He's this, he's that. His game translated to the league. Now, don't get me wrong. Adding a guy like Tyreek Hill absolutely helps the gunslinger mentality. But he was accurate. He had the anticipation throws. And for me, like, if I got a kid like Lamar Jackson in college, there's no way in hell I'm letting him get to the league. And he is not that guy. You're gonna be accurate. You're gonna be able to make those NFL throws. There's no way you're leaving this school without that.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is very much a part of the generation that's like breaking this stigma that's quarterbacks from spread offenses can't, air raid offenses can't succeed in the NFL. So Mahomes came from Texas Tech. Texas Tech for a while has been a school that's been air raid, under Mike Leach. Yep. Now it's Washington State, whether that's Gardner Minshew or, some other guys. And then even before that with Hawaii, Timmy Chang is a famous reference for spread offense guys. Colt Brennan, those guys didn't end up making it in the NFL. But now with the offenses being so centered around the passing game and 7-on-7s being a part of kids' lives, from the time, I don't know how young kids, start 7-on-7.
I've seen videos of them starting 7-on-7 as far as like, shit. I think I saw one kid, he was like 13.
Yeah. So they're just constantly chucking it around now. It's just a second nature to them. So these spread offense concepts are coming more into the pros. So you get Patrick Mahomes and you get, I guess I'll throw Gardner Minshew out there. But just as far as guys who've been in spread offenses who have had success in the NFL. And now, you'd like to see guys who do Lamar Jackson's thing and they're more of a rushing quarterback. Can they open up that second part of the game and get the passing going? Vic's a perfect example, like you said. I mean, exciting, rushing, big arm in Atlanta, but really started to understand concepts and levels and things like that. Now, it helped to have Deshaun Jackson, and Matt. Yeah. But and Andy Reid, obviously. But, really opening up and that's what, comes back to today with Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's a perfect transition to him. That's what he needs to do. He held the ball the longest last season of any quarterback. He's obviously great when it comes to running the ball. But if you can become a quicker distributor, get the ball out to your playmakers' hands, let them do their thing, and move the chains.
But here's my question, though. All right, so you don't have Marquise Brown anymore. So you don't have a deep threat anymore. You got a guy like Bernard Perriman, who was supposed to be a stud when he came out of college, and he kind of just injuries and just floundered away.
I don't think he's back there, is he?
I think he is.
I know for sure that they're going to start guys like Rashad Bateman is their draft.
Oh, that's his name, Rashad Bateman.
Yeah. And then Devin Duvernay is probably there too.
It is, and that's my thing. Like you don't have now you don't have that guy when you do that scramble drill. You don't have that guy, that deep threat. You don't have that guy that's going to be down the field for you. You're going to have to check down more. You're going to have to look to J.K. Dobbins, and I just went blank.
Andrews.
And yeah, Mark Andrews. So now what? So now what do you do? So now that game, now you're gonna have to run. You're gonna have to figure it out. He's gonna have to, because he's gonna take a lot of hits this year if he doesn't figure it out. And the last thing you want to do is pay him and then he gets hurt.
The good thing is it has worked. Like, they have got to a certain point in the postseason by doing an effective run game, just like the Falcons did when they had Vic, Warwick Dunn, TJ Duckett. Like, you can get by to a certain point with that, but some teams really clamp down in the box and force you. Yeah, then we'll see what you're made of.
That's what the Titans did. Every time they made it to the first round, Titans versus the fucking Ravens, they locked down that run game, and he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because, again, we all saw Marquise Brown wasn't good getting off a physical corner on Marquise Brown is going to be a done deal for your passing game.
I think even the Chargers were kind of a team that showed, because they would like spy him with Derwin James, guys like that.
And it's not going to take long for us to figure out your offense.
Yeah,
it's not going to take us long. Once we figure out that, Lamar Jackson we don't have to worry about being deep, so now we can walk our safeties up. So now we don't have a deep threat. You got Duvernay, and then you got Rashad Bateman. We're not concerned about these guys. These guys ain't proved nothing to us.
Yeah.
So now you're going to see a lot of one. So this is where he's going to see the single coverage. He's going to see the single high safeties, where you should be carving up a defense. Question is, will he be able to do that?
And I'm pessimistic, just from the mechanics, from what I've seen so far. It's an ugly ball. It's not often a spiral. It's not often thrown with great placement. It's usually behind or what have you. So we'll see. Again, they need the read option. They need the designed runs, and it has worked. So we'll see if it continues to work for them.
But he did put on muscle, so he put on some weight. So maybe that may help with the impact of the hits he's intending to take this year.
He's one of those guys too. Like, surprisingly, takes not that many big shots. Like, he's kind of slippery, and he got banged up a little bit last year. But for the most part, he's been healthy, surprisingly.
Well, we're gonna see. But as for Kyler Murray, I feel like they don't have a choice. They got to stick with him now for the next 5 years. They got to stick with him.
Yeah, he's the guy for sure.
So they got to figure it out.
Did you see anything about NFL Plus today?
What the hell is NFL Plus? I have not seen anything about that.
So there's a new package the NFL has presented as far as like a TV package and what you can buy and what you can get. And it seemed exciting. It was advertised as like $4.99 for this and for that, all for people to just end up reading that it's the same old song and dance. You don't actually get live out-of-market games. You just get live out-of-market preseason games. And then
why don't they just release Sunday Ticket as a streaming service?
So
that's all we want.
This from ARS Technica. NFL Plus is here, but it's probably not what you're looking for. From Samuel Axon. After months of rumors and teases, the National Football League has launched a new streaming video service. Unfortunately, the new service has limitations, as it's caught up in a tangled mess of arrangements with different services. NFL Plus replaces NFL Game Pass, which offered more utility but was $99.99 annually. NFL Plus costs $4.99 monthly or $39.99 per year. TechCrunch reports that Game Pass subscribers will automatically be moved to NFL Plus.
So all it is just the NFL Game Pass bullshit?
That's what it's kind of what I'm getting here. The new service, quote, offers access to live out-of-market preseason games, live local and primetime regular season and postseason games, phone and tablet only, live local and national audio for every game.
That's Red Zone.
Network shows on demand, NFL archives, and more, according to NFL's press release.
That's the NFL Red Zone. I get everything they just named on NFL Red Zone.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Just release Sunday Ticket as a streaming service. Take it off DirecTV and release that shit as a streaming service. If I got to pay $9.99 a month for the whole year, I'm fine with that. I will pay for that shit just for 6 months worth of football. Just give me what I want. I don't care about extra. Just give me Sunday Ticket. That's all I ask for.
Yeah, I don't know why they have to make it so complicated. I don't know why they make
This
guys
is the
like me
NFL.
still potentially may or may not possibly pirate. Of course, I don't actually pirate, but if I was to pirate, I would do it because of shit like that.
Dude, it's the NFL. It's so simple. It's very, very simple. Listen, allow these teams to create whatever uniforms they want. Let them go with any color scheme they want as long as it sticks to their original colors.
Yeah.
Okay? And release Sunday Ticket as a streaming service.
Do you remember when Clinton Portis got fined for wearing a shade of socks that was just wrong?
Just a hair? Yeah. So apparently, there's this football player on TikTok who says that there's like the uniform police that come to the games and they check for uniform violations.
Wow.
I'm like, why? Just let these dudes play.
Imagine being that person.
That's
your life. Like, visors, that's a violation.
Yeah, just let them play.
The tint's too dark on that visor. So we have another interesting article here.
Now that you bring this up, I do remember hearing briefly about the dome.
Okay.
I do remember hearing briefly about this.
From SportsIllustrated.com, just today, 5 hours ago, in fact, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, everyone's favorite mayor, doubles down on Soldier Field Dome proposal. New details regarding a proposal to build a dome over Soldier Field were revealed Monday by Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Lightfoot held a news conference at the Bears Stadium Monday and provided information on the city's proposal to keep the venerable NFL franchise from moving to suburban Arlington Heights, Illinois. In addition to the proposal to add a roof to the iconic venue, seating capacity would be increased from 61,500 to approximately 70,000. The estimated cost of the project ranges from $900 million to $2.2 billion.
So I remember this. I do remember now that you're reading this. So the team itself is telling Chicago to fuck themselves because they want to move to Arlington Heights because that's where they want to play because there's some shit going on in Chicago they just don't want to deal with. And
that's right.
And then this dickweed here was like, how about we make a dome? No. We don't want a dome. Chicago, it's Soldier Field. That would be like putting a dome over Lambeau Field. No. It's Soldier Field. If you want to invest in it, how about you add some money to upgrade some shit? Add some shit. I don't know. Get rid of them old ass seats you got in there and put some new shit in there.
You make great points. I think the comparison to putting a dome over Lambeau Field is great because, I mean, this is Soldier Field. Like, the name is there. For God's sakes, please don't change the name. Like, I know it's going to be like Pepsi Field someday or whatever.
Yeah,
but, just the iconic nostalgia of Soldier Field being cold in Chicago, the Windy City. And look, it's easy for us as fans to say, right? Like, we don't actually have to play in it. And we just get to watch it from TV in our warm homes. And
the players love it. I guarantee you, if you ask any player, they're gonna be like, that shit sucks. But I guarantee when you get to play in historic stadiums like Lambeau, like Soldier Field, what's another old stadium that's out there? What's another old one? I can't think of one right now at the top of my head. Ford Field, that's Ford. Well, no, that's not outside. Yeah. But when you play in those stadiums, you're like, I
think Arrowhead's pretty old.
Yeah, you get that nostalgia. Like, you get to play here. Like, whether you're the away team or the home team, you get to play here. I don't want a fucking dome. Like, you're gonna spend all this money. You're gonna take almost $2.2 billion to put a fucking dome over the stadium that already exists instead of just upgrading the stadium. Come on, just upgrade the stadium. Just add some shit.
It is a pretty classic. I mean, everyone knows that it's cheaper, even with building materials today, to build from scratch instead of just renovate, an old building. And then, I do think the players on the team now, like older players, be like, oh, I can't believe they're doing this at Soldier Field, but it would take like a year or two. Everyone would adapt. The people going to the games would probably eventually really enjoy it, actually. But I would
the
hate
team
it as
itself
someone who
wants to
watches
leave.
it on TV. Yes, the fan in me who gets to watch it from my home in Georgia hates this idea.
But the team itself, that's why they're trying to prevent them from, because they want to move to Arlington Heights. That's where they want to play at. They want them to play over there. And Mayor Jackass here wants to keep him there. Nails the G. Like I said, her big idea was like, let me dump all this money into putting a dome. A dome, dude? A dome? You'd have been better off just building like fucking 500 bear statues around the damn stadium. That's stupid. Don't put a dome.
You can't blame her. Any mayor would want, to have like this to be the center of their metropolis or whatever. But we have the tweet here. It's like a proposed image of what the Chicago Dome. I'm seeing the word Chicago Dome up here in like a ring near the top.
I'm also seeing it's an asset. It's not history. It's an asset.
So she says, quote, it's a tweet, whatever. Soldier Field remains an incredible asset for city residents and visitors. These proposed renovations allow Soldier Field to retain its role as an economic engine for Chicago for years to come, allowing us to keep bringing sports, music, and other events to our world-class city.
She never mentioned history. At any point in that tweet, there is not a mention of how historic Soldier Field is and the grand history that comes with it from the great players, from Mike Singletary and all these other great players that have been in Chicago. She said, asset.
I'll get this. Soldier Field was remodeled in the early 2000s at a cost of $660 million in a project that won't be paid off until 2032, according to the Sun-Times.
So you want to add more money to that and add more debt to what you're already in.
Isn't it nice, dude? Like the average, you and I, we can just drown from paycheck to paycheck, really trying to figure things out. But, 660 on the tab, just whatever. We'll pay it off in 10 years.
This is fucking 22 years ago.
Golly.
You've been paying off a $660 million tab for 22 years now. And now you're talking about adding an additional $900 million to. You're stupid. You're stupid.
It's unreal. I've really been thinking, like, because we know a good friend of the show, Ryan Francis. He's with the Partycast Network. He helps do their production and whatnot. I don't know whether or not to reach out to him. If I was to reach out to a producer, it would be him because I'd wanna, do it with someone I'm already familiar with. But it takes a little bit away from the show, like and let's be honest, my analysis is what everyone comes here for, right? Like you come here for the golden goose.
Right.
What Dylan says is it's the pimp juice. It is what it is. So me having to worry about like what this tab is and sharing this screen, like it really takes away from me being just the ultimate Ric Flair that I can be. So we'll see. Maybe we'll dive into someone bringing up these tabs for me. Maybe not. But if anyone wants to volunteer their services, feel free to message the show. It doesn't have to be Ryan Francis. If you're a lady, if you're a man, if you're non-binary, reach out to the show. We'll take all applications. But unfortunately, the next topic here, tough news for some young prospects. Nate brought this up to me before the show. Justin Ross of the Kansas City Chiefs and John Mechie of the Houston Texans both dealing with a little something here. So first we have the Chiefs, Justin Ross, this according to MSN.com, placed on injured reserve, rookie wide receiver out for the entire 2022 season after having another foot surgery.
Jesus Christ. Like, what is happening, man? Like, what is happening to these kids? Like, what do we need to do to protect them from coming? I get it. Football's a physical game, but come on. Some of these kids don't even get what's his name? The kid from Jacksonville. Etienne or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah.
He didn't even get the entire season. Like, what do we need to do to protect these kids so these kids can play their first season? Like his first season gonna be next year.
Well, I mean, this is an especially particular special case, right? I mean, Justin Ross, famously of the Clemson Tigers, had that like neck surgery, spinal surgery to repair like a disc or whatever. People weren't sure if he was going to play ever again after that a couple of years ago. And then he ends up playing the 2021 season for the Tigers last year, kind of a down season after a stellar freshman season. So, I mean, this just kind of unfortunately seems like a trend for him that hopefully it doesn't just continue and he does find his way to the field eventually because super talented. I mean, freshman season was stellar, going to the national championship game, playing against the big boys in Alabama, really showing up with Trevor Lawrence. But, ever since then, just kind of stock down, undrafted to the Chiefs.
I don't know. I
know there was a place to produce. I mean, it's with Patrick Mahomes, so hopefully he can get on the field.
Yeah, hopefully. Nah, this unfortunate situation. This is something you couldn't even. It was nothing you can do to protect this kid from this. With John Mechie, that's so unfortunate, dude. Like you tear ACL. What game? He tore it in the SEC championship game. And then,
real quick before we get to Mechie, just this from Shanna. I love the name Shanna. McCarriston. The Chiefs had placed Justin Ross on reserve. Team announced Monday, ending the wide receiver's rookie season before it even began. Head coach Andy Reid said last week the 22-year-old recently had foot surgery to correct a previous surgery he had in November while at Clemson. So, just something he's. Yeah,
that's the see. There's another question I have for these kids. Who the fuck's doing these surgeries? Why are these kids having to have multiple surgeries? You should fix it the first time. Now, I get if there's like a complication, like a screw comes out or an infection happens. I understand that. But why are we recorrecting an injury that should have been dealt with in November?
I've had whiskey. What's your excuse? But yeah, this is the other one here. Like you said, tore his Achilles last, right?
No, it was an ACL. He tore his ACL in the SEC championship game.
Okay.
And now he's diagnosed with leukemia.
He says he's going to miss the entire 2022 season as well, according to Today.com.
It's the most curable one, but Jesus, man.
From Anna Kaplan, John Mechie III, rookie wide receiver for the Texans, said Sunday he'd been diagnosed with leukemia and would likely not be playing in what would have been his first NFL season. Mechie 22 said in a statement he was recently diagnosed with acute promolactic
It's a word.
I got this. Promulacitic. Huh? That's got to be it. I think I just nailed it. Leukemia, which he called the most curable form of leukemia. Quote, I'm currently receiving great medical care. I am in good spirits, and I expect to make a recovery at a later point in time, Mechie said. As a result of this diagnosis, I will likely not be playing football this season. My main focus will be on my health and recovery.
The Texans just couldn't catch a break. God damn it. Because he was going to be opposite side of Brandon Cooks, and that duo was going to be something for him. Davis Mills was going to have some wideouts. Now he got Brandon Cooks and nobody else.
Well, no, Nico Collins, not sure if you remember him from Michigan, but he's supposed to be kind of like their big guy on the outside, and then I think Mechie was going to slot in as their third, their working in the middle of the field.
Oh, we're going to see. We're going to see how that plays out this year.
Yeah, they need Nico to show up. I think he had a few flashes, but Mills and Cooks had a real nice connection. So.
They did. Towards the end of the year, they got to start out hot this year, but that's unfortunate. Like that's you tear your ACL in the SEC championship game. You start working out. You're excited. You get drafted. You're excited, and then you get hit with some more bad news. It's bad news, but it's good news. It's a really curable one. So, it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, you brought up James Conner before. He was out, I think, his senior season at Pitt for that. So, and he's been able to make a recovery and play in the NFL. So, definitely best of wishes to John Mechie. Great college player thus far, and I've been looking forward to see him in the pros. So, we'll see. What's really funny is there's a tell when we're about to transition subjects because we kind of let our voices get low, and then we go to the next one. Anyway, Packers news. Packers extend contracts of head coach Matt LaFleur, general manager Brian Gutekunst.
Matt LaFleur.
LaFleur. Shut cram up a cram hole, LaFleur.
It's a good thing. It's a good move.
Yeah, I mean, ever since he's been in the building.
You know, a lot of people I questioned the Devontae Adams trade. I did. When I first heard it, I was like, what the hell is going on? And then you really start to think about it. And like I said, I think I think that second round draft pick is going to have a much better season than Devontae Adams will. Because we all know the fact that he referred to Derek Carr as a Hall of Famer is mind-blowing.
So you're saying that Christian Watson's going to have a better season than Devontae Adams?
I believe so.
Okay.
That's
hot. That's bold. I like it.
Because you think about it, before Devontae Adams, they didn't have a big name receiver. They had guys like Zay Jones and what's his name, Brian Edwards. They had guys like that. They didn't have, and I mean, you obviously had tight end, but they didn't have any big names on the outside. So Hunter Renfrow was getting a lot of one-on-ones. So it's easy, you know. So now Devontae Adams is going to see a lot of double teams. Is Derek Carr going to force the ball to him? It's going to be a question.
I would counter that by saying I think Devontae Adams has always seen double teams.
But he also had Aaron Rodgers.
Also, yes, I do think Derek Carr is going to force the ball to him. So both of those things are true. He's going to see double teams, and he's going to get the ball forced to him.
I think Derek Carr is going to for them to succeed, Derek Carr is going to have to look at Hunter Renfrow. He's going to have to. You're going to have to use your tight end. You have to use them because if you just start throwing that ball to Devontae Adams, it's going to be a situation.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun offense to watch. I think this connection goes back to college. You know, Derek Carr knows what Devontae's doing. Devontae knows what Carr's doing. So it's been a while for sure, but I think the timing will be there, and it's already there with Hunter Renfrow. I mean, he's the slot machine. Kind of lame to say. I know it's a little cliche to say the slot machine. God forbid, but
to be honest, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for the season to start. To be honest.
Oh, definitely, for sure. But here, back to this Packers news. Heading into his fourth season, LaFleur, 42, has won 3 NFC North titles in as many seasons with a 39-10 record. In each of his first 2 years at the helm, he piloted the Pack to NFC Championship game appearances, though last year Green Bay was stunned at home in a divisional round loss to the 49ers. So, yes, this team has been very successful for many, many years since I've been watching football, and since Brett Favre was playing quarterback, this team has been successful. And fortunately for Matt LaFleur, you know, it is a lot of pressure when you take over a team that's had success like that. You know, Mike Tomlin took it over from Bill Cowher, and LaFleur had to do the same here with the Packers.
He didn't skip a beat. I thought the Steelers was going to have a problem when they switched coaches, but he's just like, I'm just going to take what you did and keep pushing it. And it worked.
Yeah, I put a little bit of my own flavor on it, a little bit here, a little bit there, but ultimately, you know, you got the same success, same show. I love it. What else do we got here? What else? What did I finally want? Oh, yes, the uniforms and the helmets.
No,
how could I forget?
Some of these uniforms are nice. Some of these helmets are really, really nice.
Insider.com, 14 NFL teams are getting new uniforms and helmets for the 2022 season. And I will say, MFers, this is why you need to be watching the show on YouTube. I understand, you know, you're at work, you're on the road, maybe you don't need to watch the show. The audio is important. I get that. You know, you're doing work. You're doing stuff that requires your attention as well. But for this particular segment, you're going to want to get on YouTube and see these uniforms because the Falcons are wearing – what are they wearing, Nate?
It's the old emblem, the throwback emblem with the all red helmets with the gold stripes. Gold, white, and black stripe going down the middle.
Helmets.
Yeah, all red with the throwback Falcon emblem. I like it. I liked it. When they revealed it, I was like, okay. I wish they would bring back the red jerseys to go along with the helmet, but I get they're just like, hey, let's just do the black, which is cool. Now,
Now, what we also have shown here is the Carolina Panthers
the
black
matte
helmet that they're going to be premiering, which is badass. We talked about this before the show as well. Like the Eagles are doing a black helmet, which just isn't as cool because they've done black uniforms, and the switch from Kelly Green, or not
That's
Kelly
what
Green.
everybody wants. Everybody wants the Kelly Green.
That's what everyone wants. Yeah, and apparently they can't do it until next year because, like, I guess the fucking colors just too tricky or whatever. But the switch from the midnight green to black is not as stark as the Panthers switch from silver to black, so it just looks a lot cooler.
That helmet is nice. It's that matte color. It's a nice color.
Apparently
I hate the Niners jerseys.
Yeah, apparently the stripes on the Niners is like the old school.
Couldn't do nothing better than that.
Not noticeable at all.
You couldn't do nothing better than that. That's horrible. That is awful.
You don't like this Giants look?
That is awful. It's awful.
I enjoy it. I like this old school Giants look, going back to the 80s and 90s. Giants fully written out on the helmet, not just the New York. They got the white face mask. I think now they have a silver face mask, but this is going back to the white face mask, the all white jerseys with the red stripe. I like this Giants look.
If you get an opportunity to be creative, motherfucker, be creative. Okay? Don't just go find something, throw back, and be like, we're going to bring that back. Be creative.
What's interesting about the Giants is in both baseball and football, they've never presented like an actual giant mascot.
No, not at all.
It's just the city's initials.
Like,
San Fran in New York.
Mascot. You don't even have a mascot on your sideline.
Yeah, where's the giant, dude?
Yeah, give me you can get a giant mascot. You've seen Jacksonville's mascot. You can do it.
Oh, this is the one you said you were liking.
Yeah, I like. So you can vaguely see it in this picture, but so it's all black with a red tint. Apparently, they said that the crystals that are in there are mined from the Arizona desert.
That's for the Cardinals, by the way.
Which was thrown into the helmet. I like it. I like the tint. I like that two-tone look. Like it's gonna look nice if they play outside in it, and probably won't. It's gonna look nice in that sun.
So wait, you're saying that these are supposed to be crystals mined from the Arizona desert?
What I heard on Bleacher is what they said. But it looks nice. It looks nice. I like the helmet. I like that creativity. That's creativity.
Something I'm noticing here: Kyler Murray with a helmet, not watching film.
He had to take a break to do his photo shoot.
How about this? The Bears with an orange helmet.
I don't know.
How did this take so long?
The orange, it's all orange with the helmet, with the C on the side. Like, what about give me the Bears logo. Give me the bear.
At least like a scratch, across the C or something.
Give me something. Give me something. Because you know what I feel like? It looks like Cleveland's uniform.
Well, what I was going to say is what's interesting, it looks like the college team, the Illinois Fighting Illini uniform.
That color. And I think that's the color scheme they went with.
Yeah.
And which for me is just like
now what's funny too about this, didn't you say Roquan Smith is holding out?
Yes, Roquan Smith is holding out. He is not, from what Bleacher said, released earlier at 3:33. It states that Bears All-Pro linebacker will not participate in training camp amid contract dispute. That's a big loss. It's a big hit.
And he has been maybe, yeah, I think your average NFL fan knows he was a high round pick, but to understand how good he's been the past couple seasons, he's been very, very good.
Georgia product.
Yes. But just, I think he had the mental
straight dog ass.
Yeah.
You should skip this.
For the Dallas Cowboys, will wear throwback white helmets and the iconic Navy star for the Thanksgiving Day against the Giants.
So dog as shit.
I don't hate this, I'll say.
I hate it. I you know what? I wish, because they don't have black helmets, but you do have black jerseys. Why not go with the all black with the silver stripe in a white star, or the white star or a blue star with the silver outline? Something. Get creative. That's bullshit. It's dog shit.
Well, and again, in the same way that the Giants don't have an actual giant, like, where's the cowboy? You know?
You should, the star shouldn't be your, you should have, there's enough cowboy animations you could have found to get a cowboy mascot.
Now,
You got zero.
they do get credit because, unlike the Giants, at least their mascot is an actual cowboy.
Yeah,
I've never seen. Have you ever seen the Giants? I've never actually seen
there's
the
not
Giants
a giant mascot. This is not a Giants mascot at all. There's zero. I've never seen a Giants mascot.
Interesting.
This shit here is straight fire.
Okay, tell us what you see here.
The stealth black jets. This I like this. I like the helmet. I think the face mask is green. It's like a dark green with the shine. It's kind of a shine to the helmet. It's black. It's not completely matte black, but it's like there's a small shine to it. I like it. This is something I like that they went with, and this is gonna look nice when they display this year.
Perhaps our show's biggest Jets fan at the moment, TJ. It's going to be huge on this.
This is not. I mean, I like when they revealed this helmet. I was like, this. Like I said, this helmet and the Panthers helmet probably my top two.
Favorite Michael helmet. Carter here, North Carolina running back showing off the stealth bomber look. And then, as we mentioned before, the Carolina Panthers, they have their all-black uniforms, and this year they will have an all-black helmet to go with it. Looks badass.
It does. It does.
Wish I could have seen Julius Peppers in this thing.
Right? This shit here.
I like this.
This didn't make no sense to me. I didn't understand this. I didn't understand the design. I don't understand nothing about this Saints helmet as to why they did this.
This reminds me of college, like when the Buckeyes, they'll put the sticker on your helmet when you make a big play.
Looks like.
Yeah.
They want this floor. Come on, man. Like, come on. You already got the big ass one on the side of the helmet. Why must you have 100 mini ones going down the middle of the damn helmet?
So for those just listening, the Saints helmet, the alternate helmet will have that symbol, the fleur de lis, all the way from the front, like forehead area, all the way around past the crown, like to the back of the head, to the center.
Between the two numbers.
And it looks very much so like a college team, like when you make a big play and they put the sticker on your helmet. So that I do kind of wonder if that's what they're going to do it as, but
I'm
probably not. I mean, it's just a one-time thing.
But I don't. I think they could have went. Honestly, I think they should have went white. I think they should have went white with.
That would look cool.
They kept the logo, the color. They went white, and with a black face mask, or even a gold face mask. To be honest, but I don't know. I feel like this shit was lazy.
Very lazy.
Talk about this.
I'm not a fan. Any Eagles fan who's on Twitter or any social media be like, "Oh, the new Eagles helmet's fire." Fuck you.
You're a lie. You're a goddamn lie.
It's so lame. You're just ready for anything different. It looks exactly the same. It's
the exact same
darker.
It's the exact same helmet. It's just black.
If you're watching a night game, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between the midnight green and the black helmet.
Not at all. Not at all. Like I feel like here's something they could have did. They could have went the Arizona route. Put the black with the green tint. That would have been nice. And maybe even took the fucking eagle wings off the front and put the actual eagle on that bitch. But that's neither here nor there.
So what I have wanted for the longest time is almost Oregon Duck style. Mm-hmm. So I get it. The wing is iconic. This is an alternate helmet. Let's forget the wing for a minute. We are a bald eagle. This entire helmet needs to be white, just like the head of a bald eagle. And the face mask needs to be gold, like a beak. So you have like ruffled feathers. It's all white, kind of like ruffled feathers all in here, and then a gold beak here.
Y'all don't have white jerseys.
Yeah, we do have a white jersey. It's just kind of I wish they would do like if they went with that, what I just said, and then they did like an Oregon style like wings on the shoulder pads.
Oh yeah. Like, see, yeah, that'd have been nice. That
Yeah.
would definitely be nice.
Yeah, but that's what they say. Who am I? Who am I?
That's what everybody
again.
wants. They want the green. They want the Kelly green, but it
What
can't
I
come
don't
back.
understand- What I don't understand is apparently this is like a tricky color to make, and it's not going to be ready until next year, according to Nike.
Why is it a tricky color to make?
They've already done it for like
exactly.
Michael.
And this is back in the fucking 70s, 80s. So come on, you're telling me they're more advanced back then than it is now?
Exactly, but they also did it somewhat recently. Like Michael Vick wore this color.
Yes, he did. So I don't understand. McNabb wore the color. So I'm not understanding what the problem is.
I don't get it at all. It makes no fucking sense to me.
I don't get it.
I would like to see like the old school Eagles like lettering on the sides. That'd be kind of cool. White helmet, but it is what it is. Here we are.
It's 1966 throwback.
Woo!
With the all red helmet, the throwback Falcon logo with the gold, white, and black stripe. At first, when it came out, I was like, I don't like this. It took me a while. It took a while for me to really look at it, and I'm like, okay, it makes it. I wish they added it with the red jerseys and not the black ones.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
Yeah, the alternate red jerseys. They were doing that thing for a little while when like Matt Ryan just got on the team, sort of towards Vic's end there. They did a lot of alternate jerseys. The Falcons did that. Some of them were cooler than others.
Style jerseys either.
My favorite, all-time favorite, is always going to be the black helmet with this old school logo. But this is just, it's pretty damn close to being cool. This is like the epitome of Dirty Birds.
It's nice. It's gonna be. I can't wait to see them wear it this year.
Yeah. Apparently, I thought they'd worn this. The New England Patriots, by the way, I thought they'd worn this more recently, but I guess the last time they wore this uniform with the white helmet and like the old school Patriot and the red jerseys was back in 2012.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. They don't really have a lot of alternate jerseys. Their stuff is just kind of basic.
Yeah, this makes me think of like prime time Julian Edelman, Tom Brady at their peak. Yeah, for sure.
And that defense was dominant. So speaking of the Patriots, they traded N'Keal Harry to Chicago.
Indeed, they did.
So now Justin Fields won't be throwing the ball to just the grocery bag boys. He actually has a average receiver to throw the ball to.
Let's maybe tone it down. Let's maybe wait until he does something.
This shit here?
This is badass.
This shit, the Texans helmet?
This is my favorite one.
All red with the Texans logo with the black mask. Dude, come on. They was like, we are a bad franchise. We are a horrible franchise. We're gonna be the best creative franchise out of all these other franchises.
I know they've done red jerseys before, but I do think this is the first time they've done a red helmet, correct?
Yes. This is the first time they've done a red helmet. They have the red jerseys. Now they have the red helmet to go with it. And then apparently they're going to wear this 3 times this year. So it's going to be – it's nice. I like it. It sucks to get blown out in it, but I like it.
Would have loved to see David Carr in this thing, huh? If only he could have got absolutely clobbered every game in this helmet.
You're gonna get blown out. You're gonna get blown out, but you're gonna look damn good doing it.
Oh, for real though, I would have liked to see like Andre Johnson and Arian Foster. They would look cool.
Yeah.
Who else? The Niners. They're lame.
They lame. That shit. They could have did better. You could have did better.
Are they trying to say the word marking is different?
I don't see what's different about this. I guess the stripes.
The 49ers have tweaked their uniform by bringing back the third stripe to their sleeves and the saloon front word mark on their jersey. Okay.
Third stripe. Ooh.
Okay. All right. I know what I just said.
Cincinnati white Bengal.
I know what I just said about the Texans. I might have to take it back here.
The white helmet with the black stripes, the white Bengal tiger. It's gonna be awesome. And it's going along with their whole uniform is gonna be white with black stripes, dude. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice little get up.
This was them like finally listening to the fan base, because this has been clamored for years.
Ever.
The Miami Dolphins will have a new logo to honor the 50th anniversary of their 72 teams perfect. Well, isn't that nice? Isn't that one more thing they can pat themselves on the back for?
We're the only team with a perfect season. Yeah, but what have you done since then?
Good Lord. A whole patch for the anniversary of the perfect 12-win season, you know? Golly. Who's next? Oh, really? This I didn't know.
Oh yeah, they did the creamsicle. I saw that. This was announced earlier in the year. Like this was like right after the season ended. This was kind of announced early. But yeah, I don't like those jerseys. I don't hate them. But I'm not really a big fan of creamsicle uniforms. So
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be bringing back the popular quote Bucko Bruce, and I don't know that's what he was called. That's cool. That's the name of when you see the Buccaneer logo on the helmet, his name is Bucko Bruce. And they're creamsicle uniforms, but not until 2023 because of supply chain issues.
What the hell?
Womp, 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 womp.
Way to go, Joe Biden.
Yes, let's go, Brandon. Indeed. Putin's price hike continues to get us all. That's cool, though. I don't think Jameis ever wore this, but I do think Josh Freeman.
Yeah, Josh Freeman wore this. Yes. Unfortunately, that sack of dog shit got to wear this uniform.
For those,
thankfully, Jameis didn't get to besmirch this uniform. But
if there's one thing a true football fan loves, it's a random name that brings back nostalgia, and Josh Freeman is right up there with those random names. Okay. So for 2023, not this season, of course.
This shit is fucking garbage. I hate this. I've always hated this uniform.
Really?
I've always hated the Seahawks. I want the lime green with the black helmet. Stop playing with Seattle and bring them that. Give me the all black with the lime green highlights with the black. Give me that. I don't want this shit. I don't want this.
Actually, what you're describing sounds pretty badass.
I don't want this.
Yeah.
This is trash. Like I feel bad for Seahawks players that y'all got to play in bullshit uniforms. I do. Like, dude, because remember when they were going with the whole color rush shit? Remember when I think they had like their shit was all lime green. It was like the highlight green color.
Oh yeah.
What I saw like a design was like it was all black with the lime green like stripes, like basically like how it is here. And the helmet's all black with. I'm like, dude, do that. No one wants this shit. Your team has to play in this with Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander. No, I'm sorry. Kiss my ass. Don't want it.
And honestly, the Seahawk itself could use some revamping.
Absolutely.
That bird needs to look a little bit more aggressive. You know, are we patrolling the coast of the Pacific, or are we just fucking about the Netflix and chill? I mean, what are we doing here?
Right. That shit looks awful. I hate this. This is like you got the color scheme. Use it. You can go
and
black.
It's too bad. Again, supply chain issues, of course. Too bad we're not going to be able to see it this season. I would love to see, Drew Lock out there just slinging the ball in this slick Seattle uniform.
No interceptions, getting his ass dropped.
It is what it is. Apparently, that's all. That's all the news we have for, what's going on. That's all the team's looks and everything that's going on there. We are about to finally get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. Nate and I, what do you want to go with first? Our crafted teams, or do you want to go with training camp questions?
Let's go with training camp. The training camp questions.
Okay.
I can't speak tonight.
Right? You think you had 2 glasses of whiskey? All right. So I just did alphabetical order all NFC teams. So why don't you go ahead if you would like to and kick us off with some questions you have, and I'll kind of bounce off of that.
We're gonna start since we started in NFC. My biggest question is gonna be what the Falcons are gonna look like this year offensively.
Okay, love it.
What's the rotation gonna look like as far as running back goes? Is Mariota gonna be able to keep Desmond Ridder at bay? Is Mariota gonna be able to hold his spot and become our starter to go into season, or is Desmond Ridder gonna be able to take that top spot?
Right.
That's my question. Like, how is this guy? How is him and Kyle Pitts going to get along? And what's the scheme they're going to use to get him the ball and Kyle Pitts the ball too? So, offensively, that's my question for the Falcons. Defensively, there's a fuck ton of questions. Especially with Eddie Goldman retiring. I don't know what the defense is going to look like. Don Pease is stating that we only did 60% of defensive plays last year, and we're supposed to be 100% this year. So, we're going to see. As far as the Falcons goes, what do you have?
I'll sort of play off what you said last there, and then I'll go to the quarterback part second. The Goldman thing is very interesting. It's very fresh for the Falcons. Obviously, they were depending on him to be the nose for 3-4. If you're going to run a 3-4, it's very important you have a big guy at nose tackle to occupy two guys at once. If you're going to be in 3-4, your nose tackle has to take on double teams. They have to take on the center and at least one guard so that one of your middle linebackers can come down, fill a gap, and make a play. So it's very scheme specific. So your backup has to be very big as well. Your backup has to demand double teams. And unfortunately for the Falcons, Anthony Rush is their backup. He's kind of a journeyman. They were not depending on him to be the starter. They needed Goldman. So it's interesting for base defense, right? Because they're going to need to stop the run. You don't want to be in third and short all the time against the opposing defense or opposing offense. You want to force them to passing downs, use those lighter pass rushers like they're trying to transition to. So since Goldman is out, does that affect where they are on second down? Are they going to be looking at a lot of like 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3 type of situations? So that is pretty big.
Do they move Grady Jarrett back to that nose tackle?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Then you sort of get the speed element of it. So you're sacrificing his pass rush on the outside for trying to clog up the middle there with Grady Jarrett. So that is big. And then to go with that, is Deion Jones on this team come week 1? I'm hearing a lot of will he get traded? Will he get cut?
I'm here. He's on a pup list at the moment, but I don't know. I think at this point in time, I think that the Falcons are trying to get rid of everything Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff and go with what they want. And Deion Jones, I never wanted Deion Jones. I never wanted him to be drafted. I feel like there were better players at that time, but I think when Dan Quinn came here, his mindset was, I need to recreate Seattle. Hence the Keanu Neal pick, which I hated. I hated every minute of that pick because he couldn't cover water to save his damn life.
No,
I hated. I didn't like the Vic Beasley pick because he didn't do enough in Clemson for me. They were again like this is the problem I'm having. If you go back to these drafts and you look at when we made these picks, look at all the other top players that were available, and we went with bullshit.
right?
And we got stuck with bullshit.
Yeah, McKinley.
Yeah, exactly. Takk McKinley. Oh my god, we traded up to get him. For what? And he didn't produce at all. So I'm like, it is what it is. Like for me, it was just like we had opportunities to take players and we didn't. We missed out. Obviously, last year I wasn't really a big fan of them taking Kyle Pitts, but he was the best player available. And that's what we as Falcons fans always been bitching about is take the best player available. We did. We suffered, but we did. But
I would have liked to see. Yeah, I just would have liked to seen them keep Julio if that was the plan. Have all your weapons available for Matt Ryan, instead of what they did.
I think that
That's hindsight, you know.
they should have took a quarterback. But anyway, I think those are the big questions for the Falcons.
Also, with what you said about Mariota too, like how much does having Arthur Smith, Jesus Christ, a lift this late in the show? How much does having Arthur Smith, give him a leash? Are we gonna unlock Marcus Mariota of old to where he is doing read option and moving around and looks dynamic like he did at Oregon, or is this gonna kind of look like clunky and the way it used to toward the end of Tennessee, where he's not making the reads properly, he's taking sacks,
I read something stating that there were going to be no limitations on whoever the quarterback is starting the season. So they're going to open a playbook and hey, look, go out and make plays. That's pretty much what I feel like it's going to be.
Right.
But I still believe in Desmond Ridder. I still think Desmond Ridder might beat out Mariota for the starting position. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's exciting. It is very exciting. I still think it's gonna be Mariota week 1, and it's gonna be that typical, how long do you give your bridge quarterback? How many losses before you put in the kid type thing. So it'll be fun to watch for sure. And you're right. I mean, what does the running back rotation look like? Are they gonna have to depend on Cordell Patterson for explosive plays yet again? Because he's not getting, this expression is so dumb. He's not getting any younger, obviously. No shit. But, I mean, he has been in the league a while. So many question marks behind him. I mean, Tyler Algier, maybe something, maybe not. And if not, then it's going to be rough. Because the outside wide receivers, you're not looking at a lot of speed. I mean, London's a big guy. Auden Tate's a big guy. Zacchaeus is a big guy. So they're going to have to figure out.
Why do you keep bringing his name up?
He's going to take plenty of snaps for this team, whether you like it or not.
You do that shit. I hate that kid. He has I think he has 200 yards and 4 touchdowns since he's been on this team. Stop bringing his name up.
But yeah, Brian Edwards, a big guy. So yeah, who is the burner? Who's going to open up the playbook for Atlanta? You're right. That even if Desmond Ridder becomes the quarterback, you're going to need someone to be the burner. So that'll be fun to watch. Did you have another? My other thing for the Falcons too, can this O-line that has 3 first-rounders and 2 third-rounders finally stay healthy together and dominate the way they should dominate? For on paper, the way this O-line looks.
They're not gonna have a choice. And the thing I do like is this. The best thing is with this offensive line is they don't have to worry about quarterback standing in cement behind them. The 2 quarterbacks can move. They can get the fuck out of that backfield if they need to. So you don't have to worry about oh my God, why am I still blocking? Why is he still holding the ball? Why is he still back here holding this damn ball? You got quarterbacks with Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota who can get out. Shit, Mariota showed flashes last year when he came in. And he did a couple QB draws for the Raiders last year. So he still has the speed. So I think that's going to play into how defenses come in towards this Falcons offense. But, it's still going to be something to watch and see how it plays out.
I can't be the only one who remembers Mariota dropping an absolute dime to Darren Waller on some sort of wheel route style play. And it was oh, shit, that's Marcus Mariota. Okay, he's back. And if he can do that with Darren Waller, he can do that with Kyle Pitts, who I think scored 0 touchdowns last season.
He had 0 fucking touch. He literally ran up and down the field and he had 1,000 yards and didn't score not a near touchdown.
Exactly.
He did score a touchdown. He had one. I think he had one damn touchdown because he scored it. Did he score it? No, I'm trying to. I think it was against the Jets. He scored his first touchdown. I think the Jets. And that's all he had for the year. So it wasn't nothing spectacular.
And I tried to rack my brain, because I play fantasy as well. I'm a sucker for fantasy. Is Kyle Pitts going to be worth it? And from what I remember, I do remember Delaney Walker being a factor in Tennessee when Mariota was at quarterback. So, might be the same scenario here. Maybe Pitts does get close to 1,000 yards again and finally, 4 or 5 touchdowns instead of just 1. So that'd be nice.
I don't know. We're going to see. But I think I'm going to trust Arthur Smith. You know, he is an offensive-minded head coach. So I'm going to trust him and see what he does with this team.
Did you have a particular team in mind for next?
The Saints.
Okay.
The Saints is probably the team in the NFC with probably by far the biggest question marks that I can see. You got a new head coach in Dennis Allen.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jameis Winston's coming off a ACL injury. You don't know if you're going to have Michael Thomas. What Kamara's going to look like. Obviously, Kamara's probably going to still be consistent. What's your offense going to look like? Your defense is always your defense, but what is your offense going to look like?
Yes. Also, how long is the Kamara going to be suspended? Or did you already say that?
Is he suspended? Oh, right. He forgot. He got – that. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about there's a potential he might be suspended.
So, my first thing was team focus. I mean, you got to worry about the Kamara suspension.
Yes.
Michael Thomas's potential return, you know, if he comes back. And then, listen, Jameis is not healthy either. So, you've got a backup sitting here in Andy Dalton who can play. Like, he's not fantastic.
He's not at all.
He can play, though. So, if you end up with a controversy between Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton.
A lot of interceptions and fumbles. We've seen it when he was in wasn't he with the Commanders?
Nah, Cowboys.
Oh yeah, when he got his ass lit up, yeah. They were playing the Commanders. They were playing the Commanders, and he got his ass torched. Yeah, so that's the Andy Dalton. You don't know what Andy Dalton you're gonna get. Are you gonna get early season Cincinnati Andy Dalton? Or are you gonna get Cowboys Andy Dalton?
Yeah, so a team going into training camp, not knowing if their star running back's gonna play the first couple of weeks, not knowing if their star wide receiver is gonna play the first couple of weeks, and not truly knowing if Jameis is going to play week 1.
Right, because I mean, he is he healthy?
Yeah.
I mean, he's putting on his little workout videos and shit. I mean, Odell was doing the same thing, but they're stating he's not going to be ready until October. Yep. And so, I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, he tore his ACL, what? Was it like week 10? Not week 10. Like, it had to be, it was late in the season.
It was damn late, yeah.
So it was definitely way late in the season. So, that's the Saints probably, like I said, for me have the biggest question because you lose your offensive guru in Sean Payton.
Right.
Dennis Allen, who's had head coaching jobs before, floundered. He fixed the defense, but what can he do as far as the offense goes?
Right.
And Jameis, the ACL injury, Michael Thomas, the ankle injury, Kamara's the suspension. You got Chris Olave, who's a rookie. You're going to rely on him for the first couple of weeks?
Yeah, I do. I mean, obviously, the addition of Jarvis Landry takes a little bit off him, but how healthy is he? He's always getting banged up.
Always. I forgot they had Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
That's how important that signing was.
Is Taysom Hill still a factor in this offense? Is he just like a backup tight end now, or is he still like a gadget guy?
I think he's still going to – the thing for me is I don't think Dennis Allen – is going to be able to use him like Sean Payton did.
Right.
And then disguise it. Because Sean Payton was able to disguise Taysom Hill. But Dennis Allen is not that smart. So it's going to be that, like I said, for me, the Saints are the biggest question marks for me as far as going into their training camp and the start of the season.
Yeah, the last 2 things I have for them, they drafted offensive tackle Trevor Penning. Is he the real deal? Is he as mean as he's supposed to be, or is he going to end up being a bust for them? He's replacing Teron Armstead, who's a really good left tackle. And then the safety duo that they just signed, this new pair to New Orleans, Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu. Two very talented safeties. I'd love to see them put it together because I think they both individually can bring a lot to this team. So
I mean,
that's gonna be fun to watch.
This
is Matthew anymore. No,
you obviously still have Marshawn Lattimore.
Right.
You got Davenport, and you still have what's his name?
Cam Jordan. Yep.
But my question is, Cam Jordan's getting old.
Yes.
How much pressure is he really applying now?
Right.
Is he just situational? Can he do all 3 downs like he's been doing? Like, is he gonna be a liability? What is it gonna be? I think he's probably still gonna be able to play at that. I don't think he's gonna be able to play at the top level, but I think he's gonna be he's gonna be a factor. He's gonna be somebody you can't overlook.
Right. Well, they just drafted. I think they went after Peyton Turner, this huge guy out of Houston, who's basically a Davenport clone, like just an enormous guy who's a lump of clay as far as edge rushing ability. Were you kind of staying in the South here, or did you have a different team in mind for next?
We can pick on that. We can go elsewhere. Obviously,
We'll squeeze in 2 more teams, and then we'll go to our All-Pro teams.
Okay. My another one. My biggest question for an NFC team, Seattle.
Okay.
What are you going to do? You lose Russell Wilson.
That's what's hilarious?
That's a huge loss.
Literally the only team I forgot.
You lose Russell Wilson in a trade to Denver. You get back a couple pieces in Drew Lock and Noah Fant. Drew Lock hasn't proven that he can play quarterback in this league. Then you still have what's his fucking name? Geno Smith, who again has not proven that he can play quarterback in this league. That's the biggest question mark for me as far as NFC teams go. Seattle, like your quarterback situation. That's the most important position on the field, and you got 2 bums.
If everything is going, if your running game is going well and your defense is playing well, Geno Smith might win the game.
That defense is giving up a lot of yards.
But unfortunately, the defense probably not going to play that well.
That defense gave up a lot of points. They were on the field a lot last year, and it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty. Now they came on towards the end of the year. They made a couple big plays. They had a couple games where they kept the offense in the game, but at the end, it was just too much. Like your defense can only do so much for you.
Yeah, the glory days. I mean, one by one, you lose Brandon Browning, you lose Richard Sherman, you lose Cam Chancellor, you lose Earl Thomas.
Dude, after the other.
Who was it? KJ Wright recently left, and now finally Bobby Wagner, like stalwart of the team, is gone.
And then you lose your defensive line.
Yep.
And you start losing big pieces, and then it just becomes a situation like, fuck, what do we do now? Now your defense is trash. You didn't draft well to fix the holes in your defense, and you went. I mean, me personally, like, what did you do when you drafted DK? What, late in like the 5th or 6th round?
I think it was, but yeah.
How could you not fix your I just don't understand. Like, clearly you got Russell Wilson, so we don't need to worry about that. Let's go. We were able to get DK Metcalf. Like, I'd have fixed my defense. I'd have had to go deep. I had to go strong on defense for at least the next couple years.
Well, you make decisions like, trading picks away for Jamal Adams. That kind of handicaps you. Yeah.
Jamal, really? I'm not really Jamal Adams, who was a big ass liability on defense. Come to find out, he couldn't play safety to save his damn life. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it is. It's this team. If they had, because they do have Adams, and if they still had Wagner and one guy who could rush the passer, I'd have more optimism. But unfortunately, the defense is going to get stomped, and then neither Drew Lock or Geno Smith is the type of quarterback that can bring you out of a hole, even though you have Lockett and Metcalf.
If I'm playing Seattle, I'm literally taking my tight end. I'm just gonna do a tight end rotation on Jamal Adams' side. I'm like, hey, just run a fly route. Just run a fly route. He can't cover you. Just run a fucking fly route. By the end of the game, you should have about 250 yards. Just run a fly route. He can't cover. Like this. Like, that's the craziest thing is, like, you traded all this to get a guy who can, he can make sacks, but who can't? I need a cover. I need you to take care of the back end. I'm not running safety blitzes all game so you can look dominant.
Yeah.
No, at all. So he was, he was a bust. And if I'm a tight end coach, if I'm a head coach, I'm like, hey, just run fly routes by that guy. Just take him one-on-one and then just run it. That's all we need to do. Run a double move. He gonna bite. We know he will. Let's just make him look bad.
Who's the last team you wanted to squeeze in here?
Man, who is the last team? It has, like, because I want something that had like big questions.
You want San Fran? You want Washington?
Damn, both of those got big ass questions.
How about Green Bay?
Green
Chicago? Carolina?
There's a lot of teams with big questions. Let's see who has the
NFC
biggest
is four
questions.
questions.
Man, I'm gonna have to go with the Niners. We're gonna have. I think the Niners probably have the biggest because they did. The Jimmy G finally got permission to request a trade, so they can. The biggest question is now: you trade Jimmy G, is Trey Lance ready?
Right.
Is Trey Lance ready to take over this offense? He doesn't have big name wideouts outside of Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk is subpar. Can't think his name. Kittle?
Debo?
What's
Are you
his
thinking
name?
of Debo or someone else?
No, Kittle.
Oh, yeah.
So you got those two. You got Deebo Samuel and you got Kittle. That's it. What do you have outside of that? And then your run game is so. Because what apparently they want to do running back by committee is what Kyle Shanahan said. He wants to do running back by committee. That shit never works. Like that shit never. Where? What? I've never seen a team where it was successful.
It worked.
Where?
I mean, New England's run it for a while. When you looked at Philly in the Super Bowl run, they had J.J., LeGarrette Blount.
I mean, it worked. But you talking about? They talking about you. It works when you have an established quarterback. Right. It doesn't work when you have a guy like Trey Lance, who we don't know if he's going to be able to replace Jimmy G. So now you got running back by committee. You got to get consistency with these running backs with the offensive line.
To give the benefit of the doubt, like even going back all the way to Washington with like Alfred Morris, Shanahan's run game has been pretty stellar. You look at Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman.
Yeah.
And now with San Fran, like they have had one thing that is true about Shanahan, like the running back is going to get it done. It's just how banged up. I mean, San Fran's running backs are constantly banged up.
I actually saw something. It was like it was a question posed for fantasy. It was like, are you going to draft a rookie running back? Like, that's a good question. Like, you mean they're going to go back by running back by committee, but who is the guy that's going to take over? Like, who is the guy that's going to be that lead dog?
Yeah, I mean, Elijah Mitchell's the favorite right now. Last year's undrafted free agent. Still have Trey Sermon. I think he was like a 4th-round pick from last year. And then Jeff Wilson still on this team. And then who's Tyrion Davis-Price. That's right. LSU.
That's the rookie that everyone's talking about. But I'm like, you're going to go running back by committee. You got to hope these running backs can be consistent.
Yeah.
Because if Trey Lance get in the game and he don't have a consistent run game, he going to get teed off on.
Right.
Now we know you can't run the ball. He going to have a really bad day.
And also, I guess there's reports of Trey Lance experiencing arm fatigue, which is not something you want to hear soon.
I saw that. And then I saw a video. Who was it? I think it was Brandon Ayuk who posted a video making fun of it. I'm like, dude, come on. And when you hear arm fatigue, that's not something you want, especially with your rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Or your second-year guy. You don't want to hear that. Not arm fatigue. Not this early in the career.
To be fair, I do think I remember like Matt Stafford and Big Ben having reports with them come out about arm fatigue, and obviously they went on for years like after those reports came out. But it is concerning. Like you don't want a young guy who, his last year at North Dakota State was like one game, and exactly. Now, yeah.
So he's literally played. He's played one game in college. He played half a game last year.
Yeah.
And he started a couple games.
I think he started a couple games. Nothing that was like
he didn't play great. He didn't do great. He was bad at it. So, that like for me, like what are they gonna do? Like you were a playoff team last year. You made it to what, the NFC Championship? Didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had to play They had to play the Rams in the NFC Championship. So yeah, so you made it to the. So what do you do now?
Right.
What are you going to do this year? Like, how are you going to repeat next year? Because you were this close. You were this close.
My last question for the Niners: do other teams still find this defense intimidating?
Nah.
Like, I mean, in the Super Bowl year, Armstead, Buckner, Bosa, what's his name? Fred Warner, guys like that were
And every
really.
year since then, they've been injured.
Yeah.
Injured.
I think that unfortunately this team's kind of lost. Like, I mean, DJ Jones, Ebukam, guys like that. And DJ Jones not with the team anymore, but Ebukam now with the team. There's some guys who can still do their thing, but it's not like in that Super Bowl year when it was like, oh shit, we got to play the Niners this week. Like, we better
Yeah,
be
no,
ready.
it's not. Especially with the offense. Especially when you have an offense where Deebo Samuel is your top guy, and then you still have Kittle. Obviously, he at the tight end position, but they're gonna take hits.
Yeah.
Like if you got two guys for 17 weeks just getting blasted week after week, it's gonna wear on them. It's literally gonna wear on them. Like I'm gonna be like I said last week, I had concerns about Deebo because he was saving my season. He saved my fantasy season, but then he started taking hits, and then he had the groin injury, and I was like, how do I replace that? But luckily, it wasn't that bad. But it's still one of those things. Like these guys can only take so many hits for so long before it comes to a point where it's like, now we're looking at Brandon Ayuk, and now we're looking at these other guys on the bench. Like, hey, we need you guys to step up, and they're not able to.
Someone maybe, if you're fantasy looking at someone deeper, Ray McCloud just came to the team from the Steelers. And if Ayuk's still in the doghouse, Ray is a guy who's been kind of like jet sweeps, screens. So, if Debo's still kind of holding out and Ayuk's not the guy, maybe Ray. Just saying, if he ends up winning leagues, come back to your boy. I gave you the advice.
I don't know. We're gonna see like that, but those are some big questions that I would definitely like to see answers to see how these teams are going to bounce back from an abysmal offseason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's a good number of teams for tonight. There's some more, obviously, just in the NFC we can get to, and then we'll split it up over the next few weeks as training camp continues.
Absolutely.
But now, my friend, we will wrap up this episode with something that I think is pretty cool. This will give the MFers a little insight into who we are as football fans. We are assembling our team of currently active NFL players. And these guys, initially I was like, how should we do this? Like, I told Nate, should we take age into account? Because, like, if we draft a team, how good is our team going to be good for? And, obviously, if you're going to draft a team, why wouldn't you want Tom Brady? So I kind of threw that in there as to maybe steer Nate away from Tom Brady. But then I said, you know what? Let's not overthink it.
I just need 1 year. I just need 1 year of success. I just need one Super Bowl ring, and then I can retire as a GM. I just need 1 year. That's all I need. All I need is 1 year from you guys. I don't need nothing more, nothing less. Just give me 1 year.
So obviously we decided to skip the offensive line, maybe another night we can dig into that for true football fans. But did you go defense or just offense for this one?
I went both.
Okay, so let's start off with defense. And who
I'm going to go so defense, obviously, I went with my defense, Nick and Joey Bosa for the ends.
The all Nate.
I went with, obviously, Aaron Donald. Because I like.
Hold on. We started off. Your two edge rushers are the Bosa brothers.
Absolutely, 100%. When they're healthy, those dudes they are having for any offensive line. Healthy Bosa brothers, I'm taking them hands down.
All right. I just sometimes like when a guy's like thinking of his favorite artists. Like if I think of my favorite artist, I want to throw some R&B singers in there, like just to really make it, diverse. And right now, you're winning a lot of points with the MAGA, maybe conservative crowd. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but if you were to pick two white players out of such a dominantly minority-run sport, I think that you're being appreciated. The whites love this.
So, for the inside from my tackles. I had to go with Aaron Donald and Grady Jarrett for my inside guys.
Okay, Grady Jarrett's not too much of a homer pick. He is a fantastic defensive tackle.
He is, and you know what? He doesn't get a lot of respect that he deserves for what he does in that defense. Like he takes a lot. He takes up a lot of space. And
you go back to that Super Bowl year, you're going to see a lot of Grady Jarrett.
Right. And shit, why not take him? So then I'm gonna go to my corners. Obviously, I got to do Jalen Ramsey, and then I'm going to take AJ Terrell because he is one of those guys who didn't get a lot of respect last year. Didn't get a lot of respect. He didn't give up 100 yards last year.
Okay, I was cool with Grady Jarrett. Now we might be diving a little bit too deep into the homer territory.
No. He didn't.
What if that's your favorite player?
He didn't give up 100 yards last year. The quarterback, the QBR rating on his side was probably, I think, top 10 last year. So yeah, I'm gonna take him. Shutdown corner. He didn't give up a touchdown. So why not take him?
That's pretty good on a defense that's not known for defense. That's pretty good.
That's the problem. He was the only defensive player that stood out last year. That's the problem. Let's see. Safeties.
Right, so we got the line knocked out. We got the corners knocked out.
Safeties I had to think about. Safeties I really had to think about. Because I don't know. I didn't know what I wanted as far as safeties, but Tyrann Mathieu had to be the top one. I had to go with Tyrann Mathieu.
Okay.
And
respect
then
the Honey Badger for sure.
Other one, it's gonna be a twist. Harrison Smith.
Maybe I have him on my list. Who knows? You know, could be a great pick.
The linebackers were difficult. Linebackers, they were pretty difficult. I had to do some thinking because
what are you looking? What's a Nate linebacker look like?
A Nate linebacker is a guy like, remember Keith Brooking? A guy like
I do.
Keith Brooking.
Wow, you really? I mean,
bro, come on, man.
Is your favorite player Dirk Nowitzki in the NBA?
Dude, listen to me. I'm telling you,
Steve Nash jersey somewhere.
When it comes to this, like, I don't know if you remember Jamie Duncan and Chris Draft, those guys. I like the old school linebacker like Ray Lewis. I like those guys. So for me, I had to go with Eric Kendricks, Darius Leonard, and Fred Warner.
Damn. Okay.
That's my defense.
Kendricks one that's a deep cut. A very solid linebacker.
That's right. That's the defense. That's a Super Bowl winning defense there.
Indeed. So repeat that. Kendricks, Leonard, and who else?
So Eric Kendricks, Darius Leonard, and Fred Warner.
Okay.
He's probably the best thing on the San Francisco 49ers defense at the moment.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you can survive on third downs with those linebackers for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So and that was my thing. Like, I gotta get pressure. I mean, the Bosa brothers with Grady Jarrett and Aaron Donald. I mean, good luck. I hope you have a pretty decent offensive line. The corners are great. The safeties are great. So, health. Keeping them healthy. That's definitely a pretty good season as far as points per game and yards per game. I think that's a pretty good season.
Yeah, those Bosa brothers, they're just like too much of physical freaks. They just hurt themselves too often just running.
That's gonna be the only problem.
When you're made in a lab, I guess you just tear your ACL going to take a shit every now and again.
Keeping them bastards healthy. Now the offense was easy.
What's the offense look like?
The offense is easy. So I had to go with Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback. I like Patrick. I like what he brings to tail. I like his tangibles. I like everything about him.
Do you like his significant other?
No, or his brother. They both. I honestly would tie them up and throw them in the trunk because they are annoying.
And not even do anything with them. Just leave them in the trunk wherever they are.
Don't even do nothing to them. Just leave them there, and then just leave them there.
You guys smell that trunk?
I feel bad that he has to deal with that shit. So as far as my first wideout, I'm gonna have to go AJ Brown. I go with him because I like big body receivers. I don't like small guys. I don't like the Deshaun Jacksons unless they're like slot guys. I'm not a huge fan of like having a 5'9", like a guy like Santana Moss or what's the other guy from Pittsburgh? He won a Super Bowl for them. No, not yeah. Antonio Brown's another one, but the other one.
Steve Smith for sure. That's a great example.
Yeah, like I don't. Those guys are great. Don't get me wrong.
Heinz Ward.
No, not Heinz Ward.
Oh,
Santonio Holmes, is that him? He caught the touchdown when they were playing Arizona.
yeah,
back in that corner end zone.
Yep.
So I don't like those guys. Don't get me wrong; those guys are great. Those guys have great careers. I personally don't prefer them. I like big body receivers. I like guys like A.J. Brown, and then Mike Evans would be my next guy to go to. So, I mean, look at Mike Evans is probably the most consistent player in the league right now. I mean, he's had what thousands. Oh my God! What? That poor bastard. That poor bastard's been tormented his entire life.
I had to do it.
His entire life.
Why? I mean, for those just listening, I had to bring up the old picture of Mahomes and his Brittany, what's her face?
Brittany Mahomes now?
Yeah, Brittany Mahomes from way back. I don't know if this is high school or like junior high school, but she's behind him. She's got like a brace face thing going on.
Christ.
And she's like making him smile, and he's just got the most miserable look on his face.
He's like, I'm a miserable piece of shit.
This is my next 20 years right here.
So I got Mike Evans. I got
Mike Evans.
A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown.
So my slot, like I told you, I like smaller guys.
Okay.
I'm bringing Justin Jefferson for my slot.
I
was going to go Jamar Chase.
That the Eagles didn't draft him is because he's a slot wide receiver.
I was going to go Jamar Chase, but I feel like he's a number one guy. He's not a slot guy. So like I said, I like big bodies on the outside. It gives your corners it gives them problems, something to think about.
So you think Justin Jefferson knows his role as the number 3?
Absolutely. All you gotta do is run routes, bro. All you gotta do is beat the nickel. And usually time there's not a lot of great nickels in the league. There's not a lot of great ones. There's a couple, but there's not a lot of great ones. You gonna eat in the middle.
Man, let's watch the language there. It's 2022.
Now, as far as the tight end goes, I had to go. What's the guy? Is it Dawson Knox from Buffalo? Yeah, I know, right?
This guy make some great food that you hate one time, or
if you watch,
did you date his sister or something?
If you watch Buffalo games last year, he made some outstanding plays last year.
Wow,
he made some outstanding plays last year,
folks.
Kelsey and George Kittle, they were easy picks, but Dawson Knox, he did a lot of dirty work. Now, Mike Gesicki was a honorable mention.
Okay.
Now, if I run a 2 tight end set, then I can use Mike Gesicki. But a lot of people were saying that he's overrated, and I'm like, how? He was the best thing on that offensive unit last year.
Well, Jalen Waddle, but yeah, Gesicki's he is waiting to happen. He is a freak athlete.
He's waiting that he played his ass off last year.
The numbers haven't panned out yet.
The numbers are not going to pan out with Tua throwing the fucking ball. Look at the quarterbacks this man has been with. Look at the quarterbacks.
You may have something there.
What do you mean? Well, his numbers aren't going to pan out. Yeah, if I got fucking the crackhead from the 7-Eleven throwing me the ball, my numbers not going to pan out either. Like, listen, what the fuck?
I mean, it's supposed to be the best thing on the offense.
Yeah, but if you got a guy who underthrowing Tyreek Hill, really? What am I supposed to do with this? I can't work in this type of environment. You set me up for failure. No.
I like it there. Dawson Knox, I mean, going back to Ole Miss, definitely, very talented. I'm surprised he made the cut.
Yeah, of course. I told you, I'm a tight end guy. I like tight ends. And not in that sense. But
the tightest.
It's one of those positions that they don't get a lot. They hadn't started getting a lot of attention a couple years ago. I mean, it wasn't really like Kyle Pitts getting drafted number 4 pick. Like that doesn't happen. If that would have happened 10 years ago, people were like, "What are you doing?" So
I mean, we're gonna have recency bias, right? But I feel like the big shockwaves at tight end were like Ozzie Newsome, Kellen Winslow, Jeremy Shockey, Tony Gonzalez was probably like
spotlight on those guys like it is now. Like you got Kelsey, who was in top 10 in receiving one year. I think he was almost at the top 3 as far as
they're a much bigger part of the receiving game now.
At first, they were just big guys who had to, run block here and there. You might catch a pass here and there. So it's one of those things where you got to do more in offense.
Yeah.
And obviously, to finish off this offense, I'm gonna go with running back. Obviously, he was the best running back last year. Jonathan Taylor.
That's your guy, huh?
He saved my season. That's my guy, and I think he's gonna have a spectacular season this year.
No, and you being a tight end guy is not surprising because the Atlanta Falcons will forever have one of my favorite random tight ends of all time, and LG Crumpler.
LG Crumpler, dude, that dude was amazing. I like that dude. The one thing that's gonna stick in my head forever is that fucking hit that Brian Dawkins laid on him. I was so heartbroken. I was like, "Why, you bastard?" Like,
what a hit!
I was like, after that hit, I was like, "This game is not gonna go the way I'm expecting it to."
Changed his name to LG Crumpled after that.
That's my offense and my defense. I feel like it's a perfect season. We win the Super Bowl with this team. I don't see how you beat it.
I don't see how you beat it. When you've got Dawson Knox and Mike Gesicki out there as your 1 and 2, I mean, you might as well have Gronkowski and Hernandez out there. Or that pair. That's just a killer pair. All right. So let's start off the all Dylan team with my DBs. You nailed it with your Harrison Smith pick. Harrison Smith is absolutely one of my safeties. He's going to be my guy down in the box who is making the quarterback think that he's looking one way. Oh, sure, throw that hook route. I'm not even covering that guy. And then, bam, I'm right over there, bitch. So, yeah, he's great at bait. And my second safety, my guy who's going to play over the top, be very versatile, and also have a cool-ass name, Buda Baker. He is my second and my other favorite safety.
You mean linebacker Buda Baker?
He can play dime linebacker sometimes, but he is predominantly a safety. Yes, I feel like I have a lot of versatility, a lot of range, a lot of cool name credibility there between Buda and Harrison Smith. First DB, I'm not going to stray too far from what you said. Jalen Ramsey, best cornerback in the league, can shut down just about any wide receiver. Of course, guys are going to get theirs here and there, but for the most part, Jalen Ramsey can take a guy out. And going back to Florida State, I mean, I didn't think he was going to be a corner because he was like far and away the best safety in the draft. He could annihilate guys with big hits and sack the quarterback. And, he was notorious for like rushing the passer and knocking down like passes that were supposed to go to the flat and shit like that. So, yeah, Jalen Ramsey, definitely my first overall corner. Number 2, here's where I get to be a little bit of a homer, but not nearly as bad as Nate because Darius Slay is much better than AJ Terrell, at least at this point. So, yes, he may have about 9 more years on him, but yeah, Darius Slay, I don't feel like I'm being too much of a homer when I take him here.
You don't think you're too much? You don't think you're being too much of a homer?
Great feet, great size.
At this point.
Great feet, great size, great attitude, and his wife has a great social media presence.
Jesus Christ.
Which I'm never crazy about. If you're, your
wife's
more famous than you are on social media.
You've been taking him.
Then my third DB, he's going to cover the nickel. He's going to mirror and match guys, and he's got a great, nasty attitude out of Louisville, Pro Bowler, Green Bay Packer, Jair Alexander. Definitely one of my favorite DBs to watch. The way he can match guys, bigger guys, knocks the ball out. He's so good at like knocking the ball out from between guys' hands because he's kind of a shorter guy. But he presses, he plays zone. He's an elite cornerback.
I feel like that's kind of low on the depth chart for that guy, but I mean,
I agree. I mean, I couldn't like. I'm not going to talk to him like you did with Justin Jefferson. Tell him to get to the slot. My 2 linebackers, because this is a nickel defense. So like I had the 3 corners, so I have 2 linebackers here. Feels lazy. They're both on the same team, but honestly, I love watching these guys play together. One's a little, they didn't come in the league together. One's a little bit older than the other, but when you watch them play, besides the size difference, you would think they're the same exact guy. The way they can cover tight ends, the way they can rush the passer, the way they can be just true overall leaders on the defense. Levante David and Devontae White from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are two guys who I just can't get enough of watching play. Ever since Nebraska, Levante has been one of my favorite linebackers, and not Devontae, I'm sorry. Of course, I would forget his fucking first name now, but what the hell's his name? D. White, anyway, from Tampa Bay, formerly the LSU Tigers. Yeah, that's going to drive me nuts. Yeah, two of my favorite linebackers in the game right now. D tackles, Aaron Donald for sure. I mean, dude, I'm watching highlights from last year, and they put him at DN. They put him at D tackle.
Bro, he played
in the game versus the Buccaneers. They put him at D end. He just runs all the way around Rob Gronkowski like it's nothing. The left tackle barely gets a piece of him, and Aaron Donald knocks the ball out of Tom Brady's hands. Like, he's just an absolute beast. He's the reason that Russell Wilson hurt his finger this year and had to miss time. You know, the ball, he'll sack the quarterback, the ball will bounce off his helmet, and somebody else will pick it off. Like, that's just the kind of impact Aaron Donald has on the game.
Yeah.
There's so many different roles for different positions to play that to say that Aaron Donald is the best player in the NFL just feels lazy. But when you say it, it doesn't feel wrong.
He is. I mean, he's the reason they won a Super Bowl. If you look at they showed the film. If Aaron Donald is a half a second late, it's a touchdown and it's a ball game to Jamar Chase. Because Jalen Ramsey falls. He's beat. Jamar Chase is up the field. If he has a half a second longer, it's a touchdown, and the Cincinnati Bengals win their first championship. Done deal. That's how much of an impact that this dude has on the team.
So, yeah, I'm not such a contrarian that I can't just put Aaron Donald on my team and be happy with it. D tackle number 2, Vita Vea. Enormous size, enormous power. Again, another Tampa Bay Buccaneer. But this guy, you may not think of him as a pass rusher, but he will shove your center all the way into the lap of your quarterback and think nothing of it. One of my favorite plays from last year, I think it was the opening game of the season. The Buccaneers played the Cowboys, and Vita Vea just taught Tyler Biadasz who the fucking man was and put him right in the lap of Dak Prescott, very first play. My edge players, this is going to, this guy's older, but like we said, age is not a factor. And since he's entered the league out of Texas A&M, Von Miller has just been a beast, an unstoppable force, a guy who has shown the what you want your edge rusher to look like, as far as a guy who can come around and just not even get touched by the tackle. Like, he can dip his body in such a way yet stay upright that doesn't look human. It looks like a dragon or like a wolf of some sort, like a big cat. It's just not human the way this guy can contort his body and get to the quarterback. And for that very same reason, I have my number 2 edge rusher on this list. And it feels very good, I will say, as a Syracuse Orange fan, to finally bring up someone who played for the Syracuse Orange. Chandler Jones will be my second defensive end, a man who, since he has entered the league, has consistently been, if not double-digit sacks, close to double-digit sacks.
So
and now finally, Jesus, I mean, talk about
Chandler Jones.
What about him?
So you're going 2015 Von Miller and Chandler Jones.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the same guy, right? It's like a time machine.
Yeah, he had so much help last year that it got him paid $120 million for 6 years for Buffalo.
I mean, you're paying for Von Miller in the retirement home, and it's still probably going to work out. He's hung it up already, and you're like, nah, we need you once more, Von.
He had so much help from Leonard Floyd and Aaron Donald.
That's true.
And the rest of these guys
That's true.
He didn't even he was getting one-on-ones, and that got him enough. He got enough attention. Like, Buffalo's like, yeah, let's bring this guy in here. Let's pay him $120. You got your goddamn mind of paying him $120 million.
All the more reason to love him. All the more reason to add him to my team. And the guy gets paid. All right, so switching over to the offensive side, I will start off with tight end, and I will not say something like Dawson Knox or Mike Gesicki
Stop hating on those two great players, bro.
or Kyle Pitts or, Hayden Hurst, one of your favorite tight ends of all time. I'm going to say George Kittle is my favorite tight end to watch in the league right now. He's not the blocker that probably the best blocking tight end is. He's probably not, as prolific a receiver as maybe Darren Waller or Kelsey right now. But this guy, you put the ball in his hands, and just like Jeremy Shockey used to do, he's looking to stiff arm you in the face and run after catch. He's got so much attitude. He can break away from guys, and unfortunately, the injury bug catches up to him more often than not. But when he's on the field, Kittle's an absolute weapon at tight end. Let's go to halfback here. I wanted to go with Derrick Henry because when you watch Derrick Henry play and stiff arm guys into the seventh circle of hell, when you watch Derrick Henry take Josh Norman and shove him through the ground into the next level of Mortal Kombat, it's amazing. I love watching.
Stop you there. So, I deal with apartment applications. I'm a fraud analyst for a company, correct? Josh Norman came across his file came across my desk.
He is a fraud.
Actual Josh Norman. And all I could think about was his time with Carolina and then him falling off the face of the earth. Going from the Niners to Buffalo to wherever the hell he's at now and just being burnt toast. He was an asshole. He was
going from one of the top paid corners in Carolina to Greg Ward scoring a game-winning touchdown on him.
Ward.
Shout out Greg Ward when he was with the Washington team. And then Derrick Henry. I mean, the picture is Josh Norman completely sideways. Nothing's touching the ground. He's just getting thrown through the turf by Derrick Henry.
What was going through your mind when this man's hand hit your chest and uprooted you from your feet? And you were mid-air.
At least I tried.
You just see him run by you and you're just floating and you hit the ground.
He did that, and then Bart Simpson came with the cake that says, "At least you tried," and then he walks over and throws it in the trash.
That's right. Oh my God, he's like, "At least you tried." He tried all right.
As fun as he is to watch, I needed someone a little more dynamic who can give me something in the passing game as well. A guy who, if I was Nate, this might be my favorite player because he is white, and it's just how it goes. But
I know you're not. Don't do this. Don't.
Christian McCaffrey.
Don't do fuck. God damn it.
Listen,
he's never healthy.
He's never healthy. He's never healthy lately. But when he was healthy, he is the most awesomest, funnest running back to watch in the league. He can catch like a receiver. He can run routes like a receiver. He can run between the tackles. When he was at Stanford and he was coming out behind the likes of Leonard Fournette and Dalvin Cook, I thought, this guy, no way. Obviously these other two are beasts, and this guy is just a gadget. Remember Danny Woodhead? I honestly thought Christian McCaffrey was going to be another Danny Woodhead, and fuck me, right? How wrong I was, but
he's Danny Woodhead now.
Maybe you're not wrong, but when he's healthy, yeah, I do want Christian McCaffrey on my team for sure.
Christian McCaffrey.
Wide receivers. Let's start off with another white. Cooper Kupp out of Eastern Washington is a fantastic player, a guy who I really did want the Eagles to draft. Great route runner, great strength, great hands, great speed. I mean, last season you saw with Matt Stafford, if he eats breakfast with a guy, it turns out they are just going to score a lot of points and put up a lot of yards together. So him and Stafford are the real deal, and I love the idea of having Cooper Kupp on my team. Very versatile too, inside, outside, wherever I need him to be. This next player, you mentioned him. Not just because he's a great player. I mean, he makes terrible quarterbacks look good, right? When you think of Johnny Manziel. when you think of Jameis Winston. Mike Evans has never finished the season in the NFL with less than 1,000 yards.
Never.
He
All
has
8 of his seasons.
scored double-digit touchdowns multiple times. He played his first ever season with the combination of Josh McCown and Mike Glennon. Still managed to put up 1,000 yards. Next season, plays with rookie Jameis Winston, puts up another 1,000 yards.
And he
Has done it ever since.
He could get the Bronx out of a barn.
I love that he was a finalist for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award last year. So that means he's very involved in the community and likes doing things like that. That's really cool. Very big bonus points. Unfortunately, I forget who the player was. I remember this altercation where Jameis was like poking the back of someone's helmet. So that player like went at Jameis. Oh, I think it was Marshawn Lattimore. Yeah. So Marshawn Lattimore and Jameis had a little thing. And then Mike Evans came all the way from the opposite end of the field and just blasted Marshawn Lattimore into the bench from behind. Very dirty play. Something I never want to see again.
Very dirty. I mean, hey, listen. Yeah, my quarterback started, but I got to finish it now.
I would have let AJ Green at least put Jalen Ramsey in some sort of like chokehold.
So that fight was so funny. AJ Green, that shit was hilarious.
So, Cooper Kupp and Mike Evans, I feel very good about on the outside. And my slot receiver, the subject of a lot of controversy here because I didn't choose this guy. He's not as talented as the guy I ended up going with. But honorable mention for my slot receiver, Dylan Moran. This one's for you, Cole Beasley.
What?
That's right.
The fuck? You literally would have been better off going with anybody else. You could have went with Danny Amendola. You could have went with John Ross, who he probably seen maybe 1 or 2 snaps in his career. You could have went with anybody. You with Cole Beasley?
So Cole Beasley fits the mold of a very fun slot white wide receiver to watch. Let's just face it, when it comes to Welker, Edelman, Amendola, like those guys are just fun to watch. Also was on a rival team, so I got to see plenty of him when he was in Dallas. So there's kind of a special place in my heart for him from being on a rival team. But I will say, Nate, the reason I love Cole Beasley the most, and the reason he's even in consideration for this.
Why?
He refused to take the vaccine. And he was vocal about it.
Is that why?
He did not hide the fact, folks. A lot of players this past season were probably not all down about it. They didn't want to do it, but they didn't say much about it. Cole Beasley would grab reporters and say, listen, motherfucker, I'm not getting this vaccine, and you can tell the world about it. So when it was solely cool to just bash Cole Beasley on Twitter every week, oh, look at this anti-vaxxer, anti-science, MAGA, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, now what? 12% efficacy. Oh, now what? Breakthrough cases. Oh, now what? It's worth a bullshit. So, yeah, I love Cole Beasley. He's my honorable mention slot wide receiver. But my actual slot wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. This guy has never had less than 100 targets in his career. I don't think anyway. I need to look at that again.
Well, this year, that's for sure.
The target percentage when him and Deshaun Watson were on the same page, unreal. You would think the Houston Texans never had a second wide receiver with the amount of targets that DeAndre had. And he did it all. He doesn't look like a burner. He beats guys deep. He doesn't look very big. He gets all the contested catches.
Absolutely.
Hail Marys. There's a great this training camp play when he was the Texans faced off against the Washington Redskins at the time, and D'Angelo Hall was on the team, and DeAndre Hopkins absolutely breaks D'Angelo Hall's ankles on the play. He's the man. He's just the man. You never hear from him. He gets it done. It reminds me a lot of Andre Johnson, just smaller. And I would absolutely love to have DeAndre Hopkins. That's my style.
Now you're going to hear all about him and his 6-game suspension.
So, I said all that to say this. Folks, Who's my favorite quarterback in the league? Who do I love to watch play right now more than anyone else currently of active NFL players? Well, I'll say this. Brett Favre is my favorite retired NFL quarterback of all time.
I get you Aaron Rodgers.
And the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Aaron Rodgers.
He's just not sending dick pics to reporters.
He's not sending dick pics to reporters. Huge bonus. In fact, he has great taste in women. Olivia Munn, I don't know what she's like in real life, but on the TV screen, perhaps the most attractive person, top 5 easily. Also on G4 TV, so she's a gamer. I mean,
yeah.
And then this latest chick from Secret Life of American Teenager, who cares? But Danica Patrick, that was pretty cool, right? For a while they were hooking up. And then dude, guest host of Jeopardy, how cool is that? Guy's got the brains. Also, I like that he's got the wrong type of brains. He's got the type of brains that got Josh Rosen in trouble. The super self-aware, like, yeah, I'm not just going to say anything you want me to say. Like, he goes on Pat McAfee's show every week and talks shit about anyone he wants to.
I mean, hey, if you can back it up, go for it.
So on top of the personality, on top of the great taste in brunettes, Aaron Rodgers, he's mobile enough. Like, he's not a statue. He's not Tom Brady. But the passes this guy has thrown in his career. Exactly. It's hilarious. It's unbelievable. It's the ball skimming the top of the helmet. It's the ball just going over the defender's hands. It's the wide receiver hasn't even turned yet, and the ball's right in his basket. It's Greg Jennings. It's Jordy Nelson. It's Devontae Adams, making all of them. He didn't make them superstars, but by God, he didn't hurt making them superstars.
He made Greg Jennings was a average at best receiver. Jordy Nelson was same. Devontae Adams was probably the only real start he had before he met Aaron Rodgers. The rest of those guys, he most definitely made those guys. He made guys like MVS and what's the St. Brown guy? He made these guys. Like he can throw to the night shift manager at Dollar General and make him an all-star. Okay, it's Aaron Rodgers. That's what he brings to the team.
And people want to give the Packers a lot of slack for not putting enough effort into getting more weapons around him. When Devontae missed all that time last season, this was still the number 1 scoring offense in the league. So
absolutely,
that is the reason. I'm finally going to wrap it up. We're 2 hours in. That Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback. Folks, let me find the music here. It's been fun. And I'm glad that the MFers now know a little bit more about us. They know who our favorite players are. They know how we root. And most importantly, Nate, they know that Dawson Knox is your favorite tight end to watch in the entire league. MFers, by God, what a day it's been. Broken windows. I got kicked out of a group chat. Not for the reasons you're thinking. It just happened. Nate's daughter, she's been totally patient this entire time. Kenzie, I'm so sorry, dear, to keep you waiting. Daddy's coming. I myself am signing off as well. I've been a little bit too deep in this game called Empire of Sin. Real fun. If you're on Xbox, go ahead, find it. It's cool. Next week, we got more training camp questions. We got more teams going into training camp. Who else knows what's happening? I don't even know. We didn't even talk about Vince McMahon at all.
No, we got a lot. There's a lot. There's still a lot going on. Training camp still has to get completely, rolled out. There's gonna be a lot more updates and contracts. We'll see.
So again, Nate, thanks for another great show. MFers, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Monday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.